tonight, where we are going to be discussing the new tax reform in the country. I know a lot of us will have questions on the new tax reform.
Hello, can't seem to hear you anymore.
I think it's network. But can you hear me?
First I can hear you.
Okay, I think that should be his network.
Yeah, sorry, please. I just had a little challenge there. Okay, like I said, so that we don't waste time any further, we have our presenter on the call, and since we already have participants also on ground, so the best for us is to go ahead with the program for today. So like I said, today we are talking about the new tax reform in the country. I know we've been seeing a lot of people asking us about the topic. Have about the tax. You see people asking, does it mean I can't keep my money in my bank account any longer? Does it mean that if I send money without making some narrations on it, the government will or that will count against me? So all those questions are welcome today. So let me quickly give a little background or citation on the speaker for today's event. So today we have in our midst our presenter, Habeebullah Salam. Officially, Habeebullah Salami is a chartered accountant and a graduate of accounting from the Bayero University, Kano, where he graduated with a first-class degree. He was one of those selected by the federal government as student representative during the time when the tax law was being put together. He had interacted with those who put this tax law together. He is very much aware of all the thinking that went into putting the law in place. He is currently also working with Finch Glow Holdings in Lagos, Nigeria, in the accounting department there. He also had a strong background in Islamic finance, and he has tutored a lot of people who are now also chartered accountants in different parts of the country and even outside the country. With this, you all agree with me that he is very much capable to discuss this new tax reform and be able to address whatever concerns we have on it. Permit me to invite the speaker to have the floor so that we can start his presentation. So after his presentation, we'll talk a little more about our solution at CAMSID, especially the Zidbina, and how we can make a very good use of that platform for different things, including savings and group contribution. So thank you. So Mr. Habeebullah Salami, ACA, you can have the floor.
Nan, good evening, everyone. Good evening, the organizers. Good evening, Mr. Mustapha, and good evening, Mr. Kamal. It's an honor to be here. Um, a second, let me share my screen first. Please, can you confirm I can be heard?
You can be heard, sir.
Thank you very much. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes, we are going to talk about the tax laws and how this particular platform, this our platform, can help you stay ahead. So, first and first is that let's be aware of the topic of today. So, like we have in our topic now, we have understanding tax efficient savings under Nigerian's new tax framework. So, in this particular slide, I will walk you through. I know we are aware of few things, and probably few of the things we are aware of are actually not the way they are in the acts or not the way they are supposed to be interpreted. So, this particular webinar is to enhance our understanding, enhance our perspective to the tax laws. Before I proceed, I would like to have a feedback in the sense that can I call on two or two people to just tell me what their expectation is? Can I have any two volunteers that just let me know what your expectation is? All right. So let me call on Abdul Malik Amza. Where you can tell us what your perspectives are, or let me say your objectives of attending this particular webinar. What do you think you're going to be learning? Abdul Malik Amza. All right. Gizu Ahmed. Okay, Amza, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you all. Based on my expectation, I was hoping you can guide us through what it really means. Most of us has this rumor when they are saying you'll be hearing a lot of people talking about the tax as in if you have some amount of money, let's say for example now like 800,000 or something, or the moment you start working, you got employed. So they will be the mentality we have there is that the tax will be deducted from your account directly without you know without following the uh, legal procedure, or how will I put it. So we don't understand how the tax works, because there are a lot of rumors, different rumors everywhere. You hear different things from some people will say from 800,000 for the business people. Some people will say as the moment you start working as an individual, the tax will be deducted from your account, whether you like it or not. So we want to know, we like to understand what's the real procedure of the tax. Sorry, please. Hello.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdul Malik. That's very noted. And I would like to see to you that you are on the right platform at the right time. So this particular webinar, among the objectives we are trying to achieve is what we have mentioned. So as we move forward along the slides, we are going to have answers to these expectations. Thank you. So any other person, just one more person, so we can have a start from there.
Okay,
Givo.
so my hands have
Yeah.
been up for a while.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah,
Yeah, go
my hands
ahead.
have been up for a while. They've gotten tired self. Okay, anyway, that was on a light note. All right. So, like the previous speaker said, I'd like to know how we are being taxed. What are the modalities for the tax? There's been a lot of scare when it comes to the tax and government transparency. I remember I was online when I saw the influencer Don Azza saying that what was passed in Congress is different from what was gazetted in the newspaper. So I'd like to know um, what the disparities are, if any, or maybe it's just sentimental social media talk. I think I saw while I was at work, I saw something about black tax. I'd also like to know what that would mean and its implications on us and me as an individual. And then, of course, any other thing else that we could learn. Sorry, I'm not willing to get my teeth together.
All right. Thank you very much, Ahmed. That's well noted. And I would just like to reassure you that this webinar also, among the objectives we are going to achieve is what we have mentioned. And if it is not expressly mentioned, we can still have that as the question and answer at the end of the presentation. So now, moving forward now. So welcome to the webinar, Understanding Tax Efficient Savings under Nigeria's New Tax Framework. So, like we know that the tax laws that are passed are four. Out of those four tax laws, two are already in operations since June. Immediately it was signed into law, have been already been what? Effective at then. While the remaining two were just effective 1st of January this particular year, we are January 2026. So the two laws that are currently newly effective are the Nigerian Tax Act and the Nigerian Tax Administrative Act, while the earlier ones are the Joint Revenue Establishment Act. So all of these, what did they come to do? If you can see my slide clearly now, you see that the Nigerian Systemic Tax Reform, what it does is that it consolidates 60 plus acts. Like in Nigeria, when we are talking about tax matters, and there are certain things also that we call tax that are also levies, but all put together, they are more than 60. So one of the things particular tax laws came to achieve or has already achieved is that in the revenue agencies of the for the federal government, while I was at the committee, we were making an analysis on which body to collect government revenue. We realized that at the federal level, we have 63 revenue collecting agencies. Can you imagine that? 63 revenue collecting agencies for only the federal government. We're not talking about the subnationals now, which is the state, which are the state and the local governments. So if we put everything together now, in Nigeria as a whole, we are having more than 100 revenue collecting agencies, and we are talking about corruption. How would they know the corruption? This is why the tax law under the Nigerian Tax Administrative Act has consolidated these agencies and limit them from the scope of collecting revenue on behalf of the government and the sole power of collecting revenue on behalf of the federal government now solely rely on the what? On the Nigerian Revenue Service (NRS), which is formerly Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS). So that's a very significant thing that the tax law has come to achieve. Because in economics, we are aware in economics that we say if we want to control business cycle. When we say business cycle, we're talking about economic fluctuations. And what are economic fluctuations? Economic fluctuations are situations whereby we have in an economy that's at the macro level. We're not talking about the micro level now. But at the macro level, we're talking about at the macro level, we are talking about okay, what are those things, policies that government can do? Okay, first let me describe economic business cycle or say economic
Sorry,
fluctuation.
please. Sorry, button. Is this session being recorded, or can the session be recorded? That we just for people that want to go back.
Yes, please. We are please. Yes, we are recording it. Please.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now this business cycle, now what it means is that in economics, it is a various phases in the economy where we have the boom phase, we have the declining phase, we have the economic recession phase. So these are the different phases that every economy faces. So depending on the phases we are in the economy, it depends on the economic control measures that the government will implement, which will have the fiscal and the monetary policy. So this particular tax now is among the aspects of the monetary policy, fiscal policy. And among the fiscal policy tools, it includes taxation, government spending, and borrowing. So this particular act focuses on two things now: the tax and the spending of the federal government. How can we control the revenue and how can we control their spending? She get it now. But the spending can actually not be controlled totally through the tax, because tax is mainly for collection. So what I'm trying to say is that for the laws to do justice to that, in order not so that we won't be paying tax, the citizens won't be paying tax, you and I won't be paying tax, and at the end of the day, you just go into the pockets of the politicians. So that's why these revenue collecting agencies at the federal level have been limited to one. All other revenue collecting agencies, their revenue power has been repealed and solely rest on the NROS. So that's why. So, but besides that, also in Nigeria, also we have more than 60 tax laws. Chase it now. When we talk about, by tax laws now in this sense now, for the purpose of this particular webinar, we're talking about the levies, the everything that you think that the government might be charging you for, aside from fees and fines. So there are more than 60 of them, more than 60 at the federal, state, and local government. So this tax law has come to consolidate everything into 9. So out of those 9, only 5 or 6 has been done now. The remaining 3 are still a work in progress. Okay. So another thing it has come to achieve is that it has come to relieve majority of the what of the individual citizens. Because in tax, we don't talk about tax based on citizenship. We talk about tax based on residency. That is, in tax, we have two type of human being. It's either you are a resident or a non-resident. If you are a non-resident, it can be an individual or a corporate body. If you're a non-resident, it can be an individual or a corporate body. So, but in all, these particular tax laws that are already being implemented has come to relieve 98% of residential individuals, not corporate, residential individuals from tax. That is allowing them to spend, allowing them to grow, allowing them to enjoy basic things they could enjoy to sustain their living. So, but we're talking about small businesses. Small businesses, 97% of them are exempted. By 97% businesses we are talking about here, we are talking about both companies that we are talking about companies that is those that are incorporated. So those companies that are incorporated now, before we have 25%, 25 million naira, your tax rate is 0%. But starting now, your tax rate is 0% at what less than 100 million naira, and that is times 4. Though they say it is well evidenced and in research and from the discussion of those that have been involved with the previous reforms that have taken place in Nigeria, it has been said that this 25%, this 100 million, before it was 50 million naira for small company, before it was revised to 100 million. So that 50 million naira was in the earlier reform. I think that was in the 2004, subject to confirmation, please. In that particular reform, among the recommendation that was done then is that small companies of revenue of 50 million or less than should be exempted from tax. That is 0%. That's what I mean by exempted, 0%. It was not implemented then because that particular committee, as at then, do not have the power to implement, which is the uniqueness of this particular committee we have today now. The committee have the power to make recommendations and follow up for what implementation. They can't enforce implementation because they are not the National Assembly or the legislative or any of the legislative arm in Nigeria. But they have the power to follow up and make sure these particular recommendations, once they have been constructively criticized, they should be implemented. So In all, four major acts signed in June 2025, of which I've said earlier, two have already been implemented from that June, while the remaining two have become effective from January 2026, creating the most comprehensive fiscal and overall in Nigerian history. Like I said, this is not the first, this is not the second, this is not the third. It has been year in, year out. The reforms prioritize fairness, protect low income earners, and support all small business or growth. So this is the objective of the reform. So you won't agree with me that if I should tell you that this particular reform, the tax law, now have things inside of it that are against this objective that's come to achieve. But quickly move on to the next slide. So we have the personal income tax. Personal income tax. So the personal income tax, the presentation will focus on this because I believe that majority of us that are on this call will fall under this particular type of tax, which is the PIT. So what has changed? Just like what one of our audience mentioned earlier, is that this 800,000 naira is confusing. It's confusing. We hear 800,000 in practice, and if you want to complete your tax, because if it was high network individuals have their own personal tax consultants. They just give them their income and it help them calculate their tax as they become due. Yeah. So when we say 800,000 naira, what does it mean? Is it 800,000 naira in gross or 800,000 naira in net? So in PIT, you have what we call your gross income and what we call your chargeable income. So this particular 800,000 naira now is your chargeable income. And what is your chargeable income? Your chargeable income is your gross income less all statutory allowances. That's inclusive of your NHS, pension, interest on mortgage fee that we're coming to see on owner occupied property. So it's after all deductions. Let's assume an individual is his annual income. Let's say his annual income is 1 million naira. Before we can say 800,000 naira, we are going to remove your pension, your NHS, any of your statutory contribution you are making. After we have deducted it, we now remove your rent relief, which is capped at what 500,000 naira or 20% of that particular rent. Is after you have deducted all these allowances. After deducting these allowances, the balance that remain, if it is up to 800,000 naira, your tax rate is 0%. After all allowances, after all statutory what deductions. So that will say what individual earning 800,000 naira or less annually after all deductions are now completely exempted. And the exempted we're talking about here is what zero rate from personal income tax. This provides immediate relief to low income earners across Nigeria. So presently now, what we have is not like this. Even if you do not pay tax, yeah, when you compute your chargeable income presently now, if you compute your chargeable income and you have your
Hello,
chargeable instead of please who is disrupting who is that?
Mr. Habeebullah, sorry for disrupting your line of flow. I just wanted to ask a question here. Now, this
Please
chargeable,
please don't have your question now. Please write it down, please. Please jot your
Please,
questions down.
please, the question
all
will
right,
be
that's
later,
fine.
please. Please.
Please jot it down. So um okay, I was discussing the 800,000 naira. So that's how the 800,000 is being computed, as raised by one of our audience earlier on before we started this section. So under the new law now, so this is the rate that is applicable now. Is 0% after your deductions. That is 0% of the first 800,000 naira out of the chargeable income, not your gross. Then after that particular, that if you add this, it means this 800,000 naira also is also a form of relief. Idea now. It's also a form of relief to we individuals. So it's after this, if an individual now has like let's say 1 million naira after this 800,000 naira, that 200,000 naira above this 800,000 naira will now be charged at 15%, and so on and so forth like that, 18%, 21%, and 25%. So this is how the 800,000 naira and the how is being computed. It is after the deductions. All right. So we'll move forward quickly again. Of which in the one we are using before, in the repealed Personal Income Tax Act, it is at 77%. There is no zero rate in this tax the tax rate. There was no 0% there. Okay, moving quickly into the next slide. Maximize your savings, key deductions. Like I said, no, I was mentioning deductions earlier. So that the deductions that are statutory, we have the pension, we have the life insurance and annuities, we have your rent relief. This one is an allowance, and we have redundancy compensation. This one is also an allowance. Also, when someone is forcefully removed out of office, they pay them some compensation. Before it was 10 million naira, now it is 50 million naira. Do you know the interesting thing here? What interests everyone most is that even if your compensation is 100 million naira, they will firstly charge 50 million naira is 0%. Is the remaining 50 million naira they will not charge at the graduated tax rate. Unlike before that, you don't charge everything. So that's another thing that has come to relieve tax burden for individuals. All right. I know you have it in mind that if all those things I've been saying is relief, it means we are moving the tax burden, which automatically translates into reduce in revenue for the government. How is government gaining from this? So government is gaining from this by widening the tax net. And when I say widening the tax net, it was widening compliances. This particular tax law did not introduce any taxes, any new tax, not one, not even half tax that it introduced. It didn't introduce anything. It was just like a restructure to the existing tax laws. So the way the government see to kind of recover all this relief is through compliances. Because you agree with me that most of us on this call probably were not paying our PIT, or the only PIT we are paying before now is the one deducted by our employer, of which we have other sources of income and we are not declaring it to the tax purpose. And presently now in the new tax law, you as an individual, you must file your return at worst 31st of March every year. Why for companies, they must file it at January 31st every year, of which the LIROS has extended by 1 week presently. So these are the few allowance, not all, like I said. We have under the statutory deductions, we have four, of which I've mentioned today. We have allowances for the rent relief, however, redundancy compensation. Okay, so moving on to the next slide quickly is capital gain tax. Capital gain tax, investment moves. For capital gain tax now, for individuals, asset disposals up to 150 million naira are tax exempt. Can you imagine that? You have a stock that you are that is in your portfolio, and the government is telling you that if you sell it up to 150 million, you won't pay tax. The investment relief available, gains reinvested in qualifying businesses can be tax free. Capital losses from one asset can offset gains from another asset. That is, if you buy stock from Jais Bank and you buy another stock from Dangote Sugar, if you arrive at loss from Dangote Sugar, you can use it to offset the gains from Jais Bank, and the remaining balance will be what will be subjected to CGT. Do you know one interesting thing about this particular app that we developed at CAMSI? One important thing about this, which is the Zidbina, I want to believe all of us here have downloaded it and we have started using it. Why do you think why this is Zidbina is tax efficient for savings is that instead of you considering what your tax exposure will be, if you are using Zidbina, you don't have to. Why did I say you don't have to? In the sense that you are saving not because for rate return, you are saving for your actual money back. Unlike banks or any other platform, treasury bills, mutual funds you might think of. If you are in all those platforms, you are in the tax view. That is, the tax authorities will be monitoring you because you are doing that for your return. But if you're using Zidbina, you don't have to care about what your tax penalty will be, your tax exposure, identify tax, I didn't do it because it is not an income platform. It's just a savings platform of which you are going to move back to your mind. Though there is another provision in Zidbina if you want to join our investment group, that is, we are going to be setting some funds for some investment purposes. But that's another aspect. But majorly, what we do when you save your money, we don't have any return. We don't give you any return because you can easily have your money back immediately. So when you give us your money, you withdraw your money. So it's tax free. It's not you have to declare it for tax purpose or anything. So pro tip, small investors are well protected by the 150 million naira threshold. Keep detailed records of purchase costs and dates to calculate your gains accurately. All right. So So we have VAT also. In VAT now, this is why you see under the new tax laws, the only thing I doubt the government is not thinking properly, or where they think they are going to receive the return from the high net worth individual is the VAT. Because if you can keep your VAT records accurately, I can assure you that under this new law, your VAT liability will be very low, or you are entitled to a VAT credit, except you are not keeping your record properly, except you have not been doing your VAT record properly before, so you'll be able to enjoy it presently now. So we have the VAT. When we say VAT, we're talking about value added. It's the type of VAT that is imposed, is the type of tax that is imposed on consumption. That is, as you consume, you pay tax. So we have the zero rated we have the zero rated, and we have the one that are tax exempt. The valuable items and the VAT exempt items. So what are zero rated items? The zero rated items are items because VAT, let's start from VAT first. VAT is calculated by saying your VAT on your sales, like for business purpose now, your VAT on your sales less your VAT on your purchases. The net amount is a VAT liability. That's how it's being computed. But for zero rated, it is that your VAT, if you have this zero rated, you can use it to claim your VAT input, that is to reduce your VAT output. You can use it to claim you can use it to claim your VAT input, and use to reduce your VAT credit. So you can when you do so, you will reduce your VAT liability. That is the difference between zero rated items and VAT exempted items is that in VAT exempted, you cannot claim VAT input on them. But in zero rated items, you can use of zero rated items, basic food items, educational materials, medical, electricity, export, and so on like that, as mentioned in the act. We have business improvement. Business can now recover input VAT on all purchases tied to taxing supplies. Even presently now, you can still claim VAT on purchases that are not tied to taxable supplies, that is on your overheads and fixed assets. Include goods, services, and what? Fixed assets. You see the e-invoicing systems coming in 2026, or that have became effective for better compliances and more transparent and streamlined what? Streamlined systems. um, so for everyone here, I would say um, get tax feasible. That is register for TIN, link to your BVN. When I hit TIN, I'm talking about tax ID now. This will soon be required for banking loans and contracts. It has already been requested now. If you want to and you want to enter into and they're expecting you, you want to check if you're tax compliant. So you calculate your take home pay. Your take home pay if you're an employee and your organization is calculating your tax very well before. The reason why you have to be considerate of this now is that you must find your tax return before March 31st, 2026. Meaning you should be considerate that you should be concerned that as your employer paid your last year monthly pay, have they paid? If they are paid, you need the records because you need to file those records. We have maximized deductions. Maximize deductions in the sense that take advantage of your pension, insurance, and leaves, keep detailed record, documentation for deductible expenses, automate your savings. That is like what Zidbina now. You can put your bank account on standing order. Standing order in the sense that set up automatic transfers to savings and investment accounts. Like I said, this particular we have account for savings and we have account for what investment. If you put your money in savings, you don't need to care about anything tax. Share now. Just keep your mind free out of that. No need of anything tax because tax is only on returns on profits, not on receipts. Okay. We have consistency, protect against income what? Income variability. That when you do so, it helps you in situations where your income, maybe you change employment or so, you still be able to save as much as you're saving before. And make sure you maintain accurate records. Keep receipts, investment statement, transaction record, essential for CDT calculations and tax filing. So I think that's all. So key takeaways. Um, these are things that have been mentioned earlier, just like a summary now. Most Nigerians will pay less tax or no tax at all under the new tax system. Strategies of what? Deductions. Small business with turnover of 100 million pay zero tax, zero corporate tax. Um, Individual investors are protected with 150 million CGT exemption threshold. Compliance is not mandatory. Like I said, the government is open to receive more income from more people being compliant, not by punishing those that are willing to comply. Early preparation wins. Get tax registered, organize record, optimize your financial structure. You can get an accountant virtually that helps you keep your record, that helps you file your returns, tax, and all of that. So you know you are not, because if you refuse to pay 1 naira, you are going to pay 5 naira as penalty at the end of the day. Okay. I think that's all. So thank you very much, everyone. And I think we can have the floor now for the next thing, the organizers have on their schedule. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Habeebullah Salami, chartered accountant, for that wonderful presentation, very succinct and highly loaded. We really appreciate you for that beautiful presentation. I want to believe that all those on the call have learned a lot from this presentation. So we are still going to talk a little about our solution, and I would advise you all to please sign up on the Zidbina app and join our WhatsApp group, because this is meant to be a monthly theme. We're going to be having monthly discussion around issues like these, different topics that can improve our understanding, especially things on finance and other important topics that we may come up with. So if you are on our WhatsApp group, you'll be able to have the update when the next webinar is coming up. But I know it's going to be at the end of the month, just like this. So once again, I appreciate our speaker for taking the time to put together this wonderful presentation. And you all agree with me that he is truly an expert at what he does. Okay, so let's allow people to ask questions, because I could see that during the presentation, some were already eager to ask questions. So this segment is meant for questions and answer. So if you have any question, you can raise your hand so that we give you the floor to ask your question. Thank you. All right, Mr. Gizo Ahmed.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Mr. Habeebullah, thank you for the splendid presentation. I was enlightened. So I wanted to ask some questions. I was not interrupted while you were presenting. I apologize for that. When you asked what we wanted to learn, I talked about black tax. I'm not sure if you spoke to that. Maybe if you could just shed some light on black tax. Then, okay, so this is not necessarily related to Zidbina. With respect to tax, so now I work for an entity. My taxes are deducted before I receive my take home, right? But how is the informal sector being taxed? I heard certain things about self-reporting and the rest, but I want an expert to just speak to that. The informal sector, how would they be taxed? Because we in the formal sector we're already taxed before we even get the flow. You spoke about chargeable income. That 800,000 naira. Are you referring to our monthly salary or our annual income? The chargeable income you spoke about. Um, then you talked about redundancy compensation, and you said, so now this also is what do we benefit as individuals? We talked about redundancy compensation, something about when you're being laid off, you be paid 10 million naira. I'm not sure. Are you referring to people in private sector, public sector? Because I'm not aware of that. I know what you're giving is 5% of what you contributed in your pension. At least that's what I know. That's what I know of. But then again, I'm not an expert on these things. So if you could speak on that. Um, okay, so then something was said about Zidbina savings not taxed. Is this because and then bank savings are being taxed? So this person is it because banks do business with the liability they receive from customers? Another thing is, with the Zidbina investment platform, is it hedged against inflation? Sorry, it sounds like a lot of questions. So these are the things I would just want to know if it's possible. Whatever you can speak to, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other person with questions? So we can just take it together. Then I know the one I have missed out. We can take the one I've missed out later on. So any other person with question, please? Yeah, Taiwo, I saw your hand now, please.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Habeebullah, for the presentation, and thank a lot to the Zibina crew. So my own may not necessarily go directly to the tax per se, but rather um to Zibina as app, like someone that wants to start saving. Okay, that intend to save up to, like, let me say, more than 1 M and something like that for a long time in order to have that amount. So my question is, although I haven't downloaded Zibin actually, so maybe that was why I'm asking this question anyway. So my question is, will it reduce? I mean, there's all this automatic reduction of money from someone accounts when you give the app access. Like, okay, every month it will reduce this also particular amount from the account. Is it that way, or we just do it myself directly to Zibina? So that is my own question on that.
All right. Thank you very much, Taiwo. Is any other person again, please? Okay. Let me just answer the question about first then. So firstly is Mr. Ahmed. Sorry for declining you of the privilege then, but just to have the section in order. Very sorry for that. But quickly is that the first thing is you talk about black tax. Thank you very much. When we talk about black tax is an informal term, or let me say a formal term used for how we cater for our extended family, like Madugo, friends, like those that tax us. They use the word tax because they are kind of responsibilities that we cannot avoid. Like now, I'm your junior brother now, Mr. Ahmed. You might wish to kind of give me money. I Anytime I see you, or
Hello, your line is bridging.
anytime you see my call, you know I'm calling you to request for money. So this is when we are doing investment analysis or personal finance class. If you're teaching people about personal finances, so called hello, hello. Organizers, please can you confirm you can hear me?
We can hear you now.
All right.
Yes, we can
I
hear
said
you. Mine was breaking at a point, but we can hear you now.
all right, thank you very much. So I was saying when we were talking about black tax, it's a term used for how we cater for people around us, that people that we have no choice than to cater for, like extended family, mother, father, junior sister in school, Egmo Adubo, all of them like that. That we do give 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, 200 naira, 300 naira around our environment, extended family also. And I said in personal finance also, when we are doing personal financial classes or financial management classes or um how to save, that is just like in finances generally or investments for personal investment. We do what we call black tax at certain percentage of your income or at a flat rate throughout the month. So that's just to cater for that. There will be some expenses that you cannot avoid that people are request from you and you are going to give. Or in and it covers also for, let's say, in mosques, feasibility, all of those things like that. We call all of them black tax. So it has no correlation with the tax laws itself. So that's one about the black tax. Number two is how is informal sector being taxed before you and I are the worker in the corporate world, before being given our take home pay, certain percentage has been deducted as income, as taxes rather. So how the informal sector being taxed. So the informal sectors also are also liable to tax the way you and I are liable to tax, insofar they are above the threshold. That is, if I was an individual now, let me say I have a provision store or I have anything that's bringing me income. As far as I have a profit of, let's say, 2 million naira, as far as I'm in that threshold, after that particular 0% of 800,000 will be chargeable, of the chargeable income. Anything after that particular amount, I must pay tax. Informal sector or non-informal sector. That's one. That's two. Number three again, it has that 800,000 is it monthly or annually? It is annually divided by 12. But like I said, it is not the 800,000 it started from. It started from what are you earning annually, less the deductions. Then after the deductions, the remaining things you have are what we call the chargeable income annually. So when they calculate the tax annually, this copy is a personal income tax. So when they divide it by 12, like that particular tax liability, they divide it by 12, it now becomes a pay as you earn. So in the corporate world also, it is being done in the oil and gas industry. In the oil and gas industry, they estimate their tax ahead and they pay monthly. At the final month, they make adjustment against what have been overpaid or underpaid before. Um, redundancy compensation. How does it affect you and I? I say redundancy compensation is if you are being moved from a job. Let's assume you sign unemployment for 5 years and our enemy is being sacked or for some certain reason, either loss of health or so, they could not hold the office for that particular term of the contract. So they'll give us a redundancy pay or compensation for loss of office. So before, if it is 10 million naira, more than 10 million naira, you pay tax CDT. But now, if it is more than 10 million naira, it's zero. Till it gets to that particular threshold I mentioned earlier, 50 million naira is 0%. If the compensation for loss of office they now give to that particular person is 60 million naira, 50 million will be subjected to tax rate 30%. Um, uh, yeah, pension also pension. The pension contribution, some organization, like I've seen in some offer letter of about I have seen one person in the oil and gas industry that the
Sorry, your line seems to be bridging.
removing immediate. I was talking about pension. Okay. All right. So I was talking about pension. I said if your pension is usually calculated by saying 10% and 8% according to the Pension Reform Act of 2014. Yeah, it's being calculated by 10% from the employer, 8% from the employee on the annual salary like that. They will not divide it. So in some cases it is the basic pay. In some cases they use their housing allowance and transport allowance. So depending on what they use, it's 10% and 8%. And I say it is not 10% maximum, it's 10% minimum. Some employer may choose to contribute it wholly from them. There's this provision in the act that provides that the employer may choose to contribute everything. I was not starting experience from the job offer I've seen from oil and gas company. They pay 20% as the pension, and it's the employer that paid everything, and nothing is being paid by the employee, just to increase the take-home pay of the employee. That's for pension. So the Zidbina savings and bank savings. So the organizers will speak more to that the CAMSIT team and the Zidbina investment platform. The currency team will speak more to that also. And the last one asked by Taiwo also, they will speak to that. When we're having a discussion about the platform now, they will do so immediately.
Addressing those questions that participants raised. And we really appreciate you for your time and for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us today. We look forward to having you some other time. And I know that most of our participants will also be happy to see you again to talk on some of the other issues they may have. So as not to waste time any further, we've gone far into today's program. So I'll call on the Chief Technology Officer, Mustapha Siddeeq, to talk more on the Zidbina app. I've also shared the link for those who want to sign up immediately. The link to sign up on the platform is on the in-call message. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Mr. Habeebullah, Mr. Kamaldeen, thank you for the wonderful presentation. You've really done well. Thank you very much. So, without wasting much of our time, we've all known about Zidbina, and thanks for those that have already downloaded the app and they have started using the app, and which we believe that more interfaces, more features are yet to be included, and which you will enjoy very well. So about our Zidbina app, it's just more of like which we've already known that it's just more of a sales app that whereby we have different different features on it. So now you can come there as an individual, and you can come there as a group, and even a family member, you can come there. So we are just seeing the way that how we can help the community, whereby they can come together, and then we believe that this is one of the things that we lack as Africans. That is, they always say that if you want to move fast, walk alone, and if you want to move far, that you should work as a team. So now, and that is one of the things that we are lacking as Africans. That is, we love doing things separately, like individually. I just want to do it alone. I just want to do it alone, and this thing is really affecting us. So that's why we think about this project. That what are the things that we can create to bring people together on how they can save efficiently, and how they can even start their own business from that. So you can come together as a group, and then you invest, and then you all agree on your terms, and then you start your companies, and which we believe that this is one of the things that all these first type people that we have today, like all these Elon Musk, and also the Bill Gates and the rest, we know that they came together as a team, and that's why they are. That's why almost the first 10 product that we are using today, it's not a sole or it's not owned by one person. You will see that they all come together and then they came together and they build up something. So now that's why this Zidbina is here. That is, you can work as individual here, there's no problem, and you can also come as a group. So now one of the features that we have is that we have the group contributions that people can come together, that is, and you can save together, and everything is transparent on the platform. You will see what you've saved, you will see what your group member has saved. So there's nothing hidden there. You will see the time that you saved, you will see the time that you cash out your savings. Everything is transparent. And you can also, we have a statement that you can also print. And our own is zero interest free, as how we know, and there's no any hidden charge, except if someone is just joining just more of like a registration fee, which is 2,000 naira. So now you can save as individual also, that is, and anytime you want to terminate it, we don't have any we don't have anything that can stop you from cashing out your money at any time. Like now, unlike the other banks now that they will have to give you some time that you can't withdraw except after 48 hours, some 24 hours. But at Zibina, anytime you need your money, you can cash it out, right? So we also have the features that people can, like as a family member, you can come together to save for like cacao sharing, like for foodstuff sharing, all this, and you can also save for gadgets. Which our own is that we have features that once you've started saving, let's assume that you want to save for a laptop or you want to save for phone or anything for bike, because we see some people now that they've started saving that they want to buy a bike, some land, different savings. So now anytime that you've reached like 50 to 70%, you are entitled to be given that thing. That's what our platform is also doing now. Like, let's assume that you want to buy a laptop of 500,000 naira, and once you've reached like 250, 300,000, so we can source out the laptop for you, and you'll be paying the installment later on. So and now there's nothing like interest on it. So there's nothing like once you've deported that this will be that your money will increase in no and no and no. So you can save with us, and your money is saved. Like, because this is one of the things that people are asking, that hope our money is saved. Hope no one will hack my account. Hope that is nothing. Don't be scared. No one is hacking your account. And no one is hacking your money. So, and we believe that although they always say that nothing is 100% secured, but as for us, we believe with all the features that we've integrated, we believe that for that person to even hack that thing, that person will even have to kill us first. Just joking. So you are what you are. Nothing. Nothing needs to be scared. So nothing needs to be scared. That you should be scared of. Everything is okay, and your service is virtual, perfectly nothing. So, and anytime that you need, like you want to withdraw, you can also come. Just alert us, and then it will be. And we also have one features too, which will be coming up later on, which I think that some people have been discussing, like they have been asking us, but we know. I think we just clicked 4 weeks today that we've launched the app, and Alhamdulillah, as of today, we have like 78 users, up to 80 users. So some people are asking that what about if they want to request for loan? And yeah, that feature is there, but just that we've not activated it. So as of now, so we want to see how things are going first before we can activate such. So anything that you can think of, anything that you can think of savings, we all have it. So just that we are just saying a way that we will just be what we will be introducing it like gradually. And please, we are also throwing this up. Please, for anyone, if you have anything that let's assume that you want something that you want to give us as advice, please, the door is open. Or you have something that you would like us to create for you on that platform, it's open. And let's say that you want a feature that needs to be included on the platform. We are always ready for you, and we are ready to serve you. This is just brief about our product is. Bina. Thank you. And is Mr. Kamal wants to add something.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to add that also we are open to bringing deals for us. For example, you have organization and people there would need laptop and there are many. We have some laptops on ground now, very good Core i5. So you have an organization, we and many of the members there would like to get a laptop. Just let us know, would see how we can make the supply and then how we can make the payment flexible for them. So you can bring deals like that for us, and then we can always agree on whatever you can also get from that. So I'm just saying this because I know many of us are here thinking, okay, is there a way I can come in to partner with the Zidbina team? Yeah, this is a way you can come in to partner with us, or you have an organization where they would like to get full stuff on certain cycle, maybe 3 months, and then the payment should be spread for them. So we enroll them on the platform, and then we would, make what they want available, and then the payment, as long as we have that guarantee that okay, this is a company based thing. So we, for now, we don't want to really deal directly with just individuals when it comes to loans. I know you understand what I mean because of the high risk involved in that. But once you can let us know that okay, this is where I work, or this is where so person is working, and then we can have the guarantee that okay, maybe from the source they are going to be remitting from the salary to us to pay off for that particular gadget or for anything, then we are very open to that. I saw some people raising up hands up, so you can ask your questions. Yeah, Mr. Taiwo, go ahead, please.
Okay. Um, thank you so much for the presentation. So far, so good. Okay, my question on Zidbina, I asked a question. It has not been answered. Then, secondly, is regarding what
I
the
also asked the question again. Maybe we didn't
okay,
get
okay. The
that.
question I asked was, I asked that on Zidbina, is it going to like withdraw the money from someone's account once we give it access? Maybe like we give it the access like every ending of the month you should withdraw it, because there are some things like that. Once you give them the access, you just be withdrawing that certain amount at a particular time repetitively. If someone want to save, that's what I mean. Like someone to save to certain amount, then you give it an access such that it will be withdrawing directly, or we have to do that ourselves, manually transfer the money to the account, to the app. So that's the question I asked in the first place. So secondly, when the city was talking about the maybe someone want to save to buy something like laptop, and he saved up to like 25, I mean 250 for instance, maybe 500, and he saved up to like 250, that Zidbina Q can actually give the person the laptop, then he paid installmentally. Okay. So my own is, I just want to say this actually, like uh the consideration on like defaults, someone that defaults, how is that going to be? Won't it affect Zidbina crew? So that's on that one. That's what I want to say. Like the effect in the long run, people are so dangerous sometimes. Okay, that's just my own area of concern to Zidbina crew. So the third one is it possible to have a such a way that, I don't know if it has been, the features has been included as such a way that you have some set of savings or set of um, and some features whereby those that are interested in savings for what's it called? Let's say it's for an investment sake. Okay, let's say this a features those that are interested in saving for investment sake, such that their money will be used for investment, Then they have the return and like maybe I don't want to use the word ROI. Let me just say maybe dividend or the way they call it after the investment has been done, maybe whatever it is, maybe land investment, all those things. After that, then the dividend will be shared. I mean the profit. And profit and loss are shared by investors anyway. So that's my own take.
Okay. Thank you so much for your those insights you shared and the concerns raised and the questions as well. On the automated deduction, we have not included that feature yet, but just like the chief technology officer said, we something that we can always integrate anytime. So if a person wants us to do that, particularly for him or I, so that okay, if I say that I should be the one transferring, I may not, I may not be that committed to it. So can you just integrate this for me that it can deduct from the account? So I know we'll work around that and we'll be able to get something done in that regard. Number two is on the concern about the 70% and then giving the person the gadget. That's why I mentioned that for things like this, there will be terms and conditions. So most likely is that if you are going to get that from us, you'll be, all KYC must have been made available. We always prefer that if you are working somewhere, we get to know how you are being paid, and then we work directly with those that are paying you. So that okay, if you that's why we like to work with organizations. Let's say okay, this is an organization and they want their staff to have certain gadgets. So we say okay, let's supply it, and then 3 months or 4 months the deduction should be made from their salary. So in such instance, we know that there's a form of guarantee for us. So if the individual wants to default, we will hold the company, because in that instance now, they are the guarantors for that particular transaction we are making with that person. So that's the way we are really looking at it for now. So we also understand the risk involved, especially when it comes to anything loan, or getting things on debt. So people find it difficult to really meet up with their terms and with their own commitments. So we will not also want to take too much risk that can cripple the business. Um, Lastly, I was on investment, and that's one thing also, because investment with the risk that comes with it, we have not really started that part of asking people to contribute for investment, but we are working on it. But anything investment, you must make sure that you've dotted the I's and crossed all the T's. You've done all the necessary things before you tell people to give you their money for and use for any form of investment. It's something one has to be very careful with, because we hold issue of trust very, very seriously. We wouldn't want anything that can affect the trust people are reposing in us at this particular point in time. But we are working around that to see what are those low risk investments where the risk is almost zero. So, so that those are the things we can first start with. So whatever has that risk that is a little high or something, so we want to avoid it at this point. So pending the time, we really not that we have those ideas, but we just want to make sure that we have gained the trust of the people, and then can always build on that and never disappoint those that trust us with a hard earned money. I don't know if Mr. Mustapha still have one or two things to add to to add to that.
Yeah, I think you've said it all. But just for the first question that he asked, that why can't we be deducting like automatically? Yeah, I think we purposely did that not to integrate that, because one, like what our listener has explained, our presenter. So now that we have all these VATs now, VAS and the rest. Now, just imagine now you sending us money now, and then let's assume that you sent 10,000 naira and then you are not saying 9,000 something. I think you first you be doubting us that what happened to my money? But it is settled now. So so that's why we want everything to be transparent, and we don't want you to have any doubt that maybe there's something hidden that someone is deducting your money from somewhere, like how bank does sometimes, how banks do sometimes, that you won't know, that you just accept those that are using bank app. But sometimes you won't know how they deduct money. You just see minus 75, minus 100, minus. So that's why if that thing is included, definitely the banks will be doing that because they are just more of like the APIs connecting the customers and the business owners. So that's why for now we don't want to integrate that. So we want to see how the thing. Then later on we might now integrate it. I think that's just only what I just want to add to what he has asked. Thanks very much.
All right. I want to believe that we have come to the end of today's session. Thank you all for uh, coming and for participating in the webinar. We appreciate you all for your time, for your your presence, your contributions, those questions you asked. They've added to they've added to the success of today's webinar. Also, I want to also thank our presenter, Mr. Habeebullah Salami, for that wonderful presentation. He made it so succinct, direct to the point, and very enlightening. So we appreciate you so much. We pray that may Almighty Allah continue to increase you in knowledge. And then to everyone, we see you again by the end of the coming month, starting tomorrow. We hope to see you. Oh, it has started today already. Oh yeah, starting tomorrow.
Yes,
Starting tomorrow.
tomorrow.
So starting tomorrow, we'll see you at the end of the month again for another wonderful webinar. So thank you all. See you then. Assalamu alaikum to those who are Muslims.
Thanks very much. Done. So the recorded version will be shared later on. Thanks very much. Take care.